Yo, let's talk about the meta in Marathon, or what I will believe the meta to be. And I can't lie, I think a lot of people will be surprised with what shakes out in terms of the meta. Full transparency, before I even get on my soapbox, I already know I'm gonna have some people fussing at me. Do know this is all my opinion. Feel free to agree with me or tell me I am on something strong down in the comments below as I go through again what I believe will be meta from a runner standpoint and what will not be meta from a runner standpoint. But to preface once more before I jump into the things, I really thought about this a lot, and I have reference points such as what's the team value of a respective runner, what is the ability to acquire information on that respective runner, is it solo viable, team viable, so on and so forth. With that being said, I'm gonna just go in order that they were displayed on one of the developer insights. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start with my homie Destroyer. So when I first was thinking about Destroyer, I was like, yo, easy meta, right? Easy meta, because he's gonna just be a plug and play runner shell, right? But then I thought about it more. I really sat down and thought about it more, and I was like, man, you know what? He's kind of like an OG Chipotle bowl, right? Really simple on the outside, on the exterior, but when you get into the interior, it's a little bit more complex than one would think, right? You actually have to give some thought whenever you're utilizing his kit and his abilities, right? Because things are limited. You have to really rely on timing things up. You have to really rely on flanking angles and positioning and things with that things of that nature to be able to fully dive into his kit. So you got to actually use your brain when you're rocking with Destroyer. And just the thought of that alone lets me know that Destroyer will not be meta when Marathon releases. He just won't be. I think he will be a viable pick. He will be really good in the right hands. Again, I'm going to rock with Destroyer to start because I really somewhat fell in love with his kit back in the playtest days and even through some of the playtests in the fall. Destroyer spoke my language and I was able to really throw hands in an efficient fashion when I was rocking him, right? But I always end up leaning more towards characters that you have to be a bit more strategic with. So that's a me thing. That's a me thing. I think his thrusters are going to be great. I think the build crafting with him is going to be really, really good. You're going to have the riot shield. You're going to have the search and destroy, which is going to be great for a lot of the PvE sections and taking out mobs. And it's going to be even pretty solid in a PvP fashion as well. It's not going to be the end all be all, but it can be pretty useful when you use your brain. But anyways, you're not going to see a ton of them on Tau Ceti or when you're on the Marathon ship. If you do, color me surprised. Now let's talk about the homie Assassin. All right, I'm gonna just come right out the gate with it. I do not think Assassin is going to be meta, at least for team play. Assassin may be viable on solo play just for the fact that you can invis, you can get in and out of situations, you can smoke out, so on and so forth, right? But the reason why I do not think when it comes to squad or trio play, Assassin will be meta is because the only thing that Assassin can really provide for the team is a smoke screen. And that's Assassin's prime ability, right? So Assassin won't have the ability to utilize that as often as one may need it. And then Assassin also can't make the homies go invis. Maybe Assassin can, as I sit here and talk about it with a particular mod, implant, or something of that nature. Maybe there is something that will shift Assassin to almost like a pseudo Mirage from Apex Legends, right? If you never played Apex Legends, Mirage is now in a place where when you go to revive a teammate, the teammate and yourself go invisible, and after the teammate's been revived, you guys are invisible for like 3 to 4 seconds or something like that. Unless you fire a bullet, then you'll come out of the invisibility. But outside of that, I just really can't see Assassin being fully utilized for team play unless it's just a really skilled player that really knows how to use the kit, be able to flank, be able to entry frag, and then be able to create a handicap situation. Then Assassin can have some viability for sure, right? But when I think about just team play, teamwork, playing off of one another, Assassin is so much more of a, hey, look, I'm gonna go do my thing and y'all play off of me type of character versus actually holding down the fort with the homies, if that makes any sense, you know? So I don't expect to see a ton of Assassins out in the field, at least in squads or trios, whatever we want to call it. But in solos, it's probably going to be Assassin Central. So I guess kind of in a way I did somewhat defeat my point, but hey, look, we just having a dialogue and just talking shop, so whatever. Let's talk about Recon. Recon is actually the first runner that I personally believe will be meta, all right? And reason being, I'm sure you already know, information. We're talking about an extraction shooter. We're talking about information in an extraction shooter. We're talking about the ability to get any type of information in an extraction shooter, right? If we hear somebody, let me go ahead and drop my little robot dude and have my little robot dude find out where he is so he can overheat him and do a little bit of damage, right? Or let me go ahead and use my prime ability, or we can call it your prime ability or your ult, whatever we want to call it, right? Let me go ahead and use that, and let me go ahead and scan the area. I mean, why not, right? So we can see where people are. We can begin to set up, see if we want to fight this team, see if we want to get out of here, whatever the case may be. The choice is ours, you know? Let me go ahead and crack that person's shield so I can track their footsteps, right? Remember Tracker from Call of Duty? Yeah, think about that perk amplified. Like, Recon has that ability. And yeah, I know Recon is, I think, at base the slowest runner in the game, but that's not even going to matter because that information is going to balance the scales, right? I could be a somewhat average player, but if I have information on you and you lack information on me, I have now evened out the scales, and now I'm in the best position possible to put foots in you. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, again, if I'm not the best player in the world, I could anchor with Recon and just let the homies know where everybody is. The homies can go in, entry frag, do damage. I can set up a flank. I could come in after them, and we can fight in a great handicap situation to be in the best position possible to win that fight. You know what I'm saying? So with Recon, you really don't have to do a lot other than reconnaissance, right? So I guess the name Recon suits Recon, even though I like Blackbird more though, but it is what it is. Let's talk about Vandal here, formerly known as the homie Glitch. Vandal is going to be the second runner that I would consider meta, or that will be meta once Marathon releases, of course. Now, there's a couple reasons why I believe this is the case. I think in opposition to Assassin, Vandal is going to be much more accessible for somebody that may be just picking up Marathon, but they have a particular skill set in other games like Apex Legends, right? Let's say there's a former Apex player that used to run Wraith or Octane, or maybe back and forth they would utilize those type of small, fast characters, right? Well, Vandal is going to suit their fancy because Vandal has the super glide, Vandal has the double jumps. If you get the one mod, Vandal has a triple jump, right? Vandal's ult basically turns Vandal into a lunatic that makes Vandal even more ridiculous, right? Vandal's going to be so much easier as a plug and play runner for those type of people, and it doesn't matter if that type of individual is playing solo or if they are playing in squads or trios, again, whatever we want to call it, right? That player will have the ability to create so much disruption, whether if they're entry fragging, whether if they're flanking, whatever they decide to do, they're going to create a lot of disruption there, and their teammates are going to be able to play off of them however they see fit, right? I even envision a world where I'm doing random queuing and I run into a team and one of my teammates is a Vandal and they don't ever talk on the mic. They just go and they just vibe. And I honestly don't even need them to talk because, again, I'll be able to play off of their every move and be able to make the right play off of their move. You know what I'm saying? So Vandal doesn't take as much coordination. Vandal can go do their thing, and then you, again, have the ability to make plays and handle that business off of whatever the Vandal does. Now, let's talk about Thief a little bit, and I'm not going to lie, this one hurts your boy a little bit because once they debuted Thief, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta rock with her. I have to, it's a non-negotiable, right? But the more I thought about it, the more I personally was like, I'm not 100% sure. And oh, by the way, I think Thief is not going to be meta, right? And let me further explain. I think Thief is going to be a really fun runner to utilize, right? Having multiple ways to find quality loot, having a little drone homie that will knock loot out of enemy AI or even other players that you can possibly acquire, and, you know, having the ability to decrease your cooldown grapple with the more loot, or based on the more loot you have in your backpack, like things like that. Totally great. Super fun, right? Like, you're going to have a blast running Thief. And Thief even can be a pseudo recon character because Thief can be in the drone, ping where the enemy opposition may be, and communicate that with their respective teammates. Like, that's dope, right? That's dope. But the caveat to that is what I call the crypto problem. And the reason why I call it the crypto problem is, again, I come from Apex Legends, right? There was once upon a time where you could only use Crypto's drone. And if you're unfamiliar with Apex Legends, Crypto is a character that had this little drone. You can go into the drone, and when you went into the drone, your character was stationary, but you could ping people on the map. You could see what's going on, yada, 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 right? Cool, awesome, amazing. But the problem is that takes you out of the fight. So picture this, you're running Thief and you decide to go into the drone, you're droning around and you see a team, but the team is flying your way, right? Like the team is like right there, but you're stuck in the drone, right? Trying to figure out what the heck is going on. your two teammates now have to engage with the opposition, of which there are 3 people, and they're ready to throw hands. Now let's imagine that before you get a chance to get your bearings, get out the drone, and be ready to throw hands, one of your teammates get knocked. Now you just got out the drone and you're in another fresh 2v3 situation. You're handicapped, right? You're handicapped. So you have to be really strategic, and you have to be intentional with how you use Thief in that regard, right? So you can get really caught off guard, and I think that's just going to rub a lot of players the wrong way. I think there will be players that will lose gunfights to other teams because that will happen. I mean, I can remember it happening vividly in Apex Legends, you know, like I always wanted to be the cool strategic guy. So when Crypto first released, back in season 2 or season 3 of Apex, I was like, yeah, I gotta rock Crypto. He's all cool and mysterious and all that. Man, I was off Crypto in a matter of a few days just because I had easily 3 or 4 gunfights that I took myself out of, right? I could see that being the same case with Thief. Now, if it's a very intelligent player, and again, they're super strategic and super coordinated with their homies to be able to create space from the opposition and know when to get in the drone, out the drone, so on and so forth, to grapple away, grapple around, flank, yada, 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 then that's one thing. But that's not going to be everybody, right? That type of coordination does not come from everybody. So you can't really expect that to be the rule. That's more the exception, if that makes sense. Again, I could be totally wrong here with Thief or any of the other respective runners, but I'm just giving my 2 cents here, you know? Now let's talk about the homie Triage here, right? I think you all already have done the mathematics and you all know what I'm gonna say. Triage is going to be meta, but I gotta put an asterisk next to that. Triage is going to be more so meta in team play, not in solos, right? So Triage, and again, I'm going to use Apex Legends. I'm going to keep referencing Apex Legends here. Triage is definitely the lifeline of the team. And I'm not sure if you all played Apex or not, but there was a point in time where Lifeline was just an absolute headache because Lifeline had the ability, and probably still has the ability, whenever a teammate gets knocked, Lifeline would just drop their drone onto the teammate and then start shooting at you. You don't know if you're trying to get the thirst or if you need to fight this lifeline. You knock the lifeline, and by the time you knock the lifeline, the teammate got back up and the teammate knocks you and they trade you out, right? Like, that has happened on so many occasions, and it made me want to headbutt a freaking wall because it's like, bruh, come on, man. Like, I fought so hard, but I lost, right? Triage, although it will be a little bit apples to oranges because of Triage's kit and its abilities and so on and so forth, I can very well see something like that happening with Triage because Triage does have the ability to revive a teammate dang near instantaneously. So I could very well see a scenario where you fight so hard in your 1v1 versus a player, you get the knock on them. The moment you get the knock, the Triage pops out, literally revive whips the teammate, does damage to you, and they both 2v1 you and knock you. Like, that's going to be like, like every coordinated team, even teams that aren't coordinated, will probably have a Triage on them because of its overall kit, right? I mean, having the ability, even though it's finite, having the ability to heal yourself and heal your teammate every time you pop a heal or pop a shield or use like one of those consumables, right? Like, that's crazy. That's absolute crazy, right? Like, you could crack 2 people and they'll be back to full health from one homie popping 2 heals in a heartbeat. It's like, oh my gosh. So I can already picture Triage being a handful to fight, but just being so grateful to have one on your team, you know? Again, for solo play, this isn't going to be as applicable. So it's like, yeah, whatever. Like, it is what it is. But when we're talking team play, man, Triage is going to piss me off, dog. I already know. Oh yeah, I can't close out without talking about the homie Rook, right? Now, of course, Rook is a special circumstance, right? Like, you can't pick Rook and run in with the homies or anything like that. But what is Rook going to be for? Of course, Rook is going to be in order to queue into a raid in progress, possibly get some loot, yada, yada, yada. But I think people are going to have a blast utilizing Rook more than we realize, right? Like, I can already picture all the funny proximity chat moments I'll have running with Rook, like running up to teams that may have just fought and, you know, there's only one team remaining, and just walking up and being like, sir, good sir, could you please spare me, you know, I don't know, some ammunition or some heals, or, you know, could I get a little bit of your loot, please? And I'll be on my merry way, right? Like, they may very well look at me, laugh, and gun me down, but they might be like, you funny, bro. Here, go ahead. We already got everything we need, and just leave me be, right? Like, there's going to be so many moments that I think will be funny and or entertaining in utilizing Rook that will be dope. And also, like, the really crack players, I'm really interested to see those team wipes that are going to happen when a Rook player wipes a whole team of Vandal, an Assassin, and a Triage by themselves. Like, those clips are going to be out of pocket for sure. But I just think Rook is going to be good old fun, and I look forward to seeing how those experiences come to fruition, you know? And folks, that's all that I have for you all on the day. Your boy just rambled his tail off. And again, this is all my opinion. I could be 100% wrong, and that's cool. It's all love. I just wanted to open a dialogue here. And now I'm handing the mic over to you. Let me know what you all think down in the comments below. What do you all think will be the meta from a runner standpoint? What do you all think won't be the meta from a runner standpoint? Go ahead and give me your hot takes down in the comments below. I love you all. Thank you all so much for coming and watching, and I will catch you all in the next one.